Howdy ho again, everyone. It's your boy A. Today we're checking out a game called MEMORIAPOLIS. This is a non-traditional through-the-ages city builder. It is a very interesting game and a whole new take on the genre. It's breaking new ground. I'm excited. We're going to be checking it out today. But it's kind of like combining cities' skylines with civilization or Rise of Nations, or if you're familiar with it, the board game Seven Wonders, which I kind of got an inkling of that in this as well. But anyway, you're managing the growth of a small city-state in the ancient Greco-Roman era, and you're advancing up into the Middle Ages and beyond. Some of that stuff is still slated out beyond early access, as you may see in the roadmap right here. The later eras are still yet to come, but for right now, we can at least see the first half of the game. I'm going to be doing classic mode. This is the kind of recommend. It's sort of like survival. Just make sure that there isn't a giant revolution in your society and everything will be okay. We're going to be playing as the philosopher. Now, there are different kind of government-focused types where you go military, production, trade, and so on and so forth. The one I think will be very advantageous to me this time is philosopher, because cultural buildings offer greater satisfaction, which we'll see why that's important in a minute. Anyway, we'll call this city, how about... Okay, we're going to go with New Fork City. New Fork City, the famous island of New Fork. And my name is AA. We'll just go with the default crest. Anyway, when you spawn in, it is a little bit like Cities Skylines, where you can choose your embarkment region. We've got a nice overhead view right here. We've got plenty of natural resources. Unfortunately, we can't actually survey the land, because you normally can when you're playing the game. For this embarkment zone, but you can get a sense of which resources are where. Trees supply with wood. We'll use that for wood cutting camps, and then we'll saw those into logs. Sand will be used. There are tons of rocks, minerals, and ores that we'll need to harvest as well. I'm thinking I had some relative success. Let's see, we've got a couple, some preset ones as well. We had roadside, although we just don't really have quite as much sand as I might want there. We've got a marshy plot for kind of a challenge, but I do like this riverside start because we get this nice scenic bridge over here. So let's go with this, and we will place our ancient camp. So we're starting off as the ancients, and I think there seem to be a lot of good resources out here, but also more room to expand if we go over this way. Let's put it like right there in the middle of the clearing, maybe on a nice kind of a hilltop. Yeah, so that's a little bit of an overlook. We'll do it right there. Okay, so start of antiquity and Veneratus Bene. Your family has made this fertile and welcome land its own. Feel free to decide your own destiny. This is the beginning of your dynasty. Little dyslexia I just got right there. Starting with a simple camp, you'll have to develop an autonomous city that harvests its own resources, boasts a flourishing economy, and attracts other citizens to survive the ages. The goal to make this future city one of the most important in the world. But be warned, your time is running out. So yes, time will run out as the ages progress on. So we are just a mere collection of huts right now. And our city will kind of autonomously expand as we go. I don't know, I guess this is going to keep giving me my tutorial messages. I'm going to skip over most of these unless if there is something that I want to read a little bit more about. There is quite a lot going on in this game. There is a lot of information. It is a bit intimidating at first, but we will hold hands until we get there. Anyway, let's go ahead and just rotate one of these log saw camps. Here we go. So let's just see. We can get wood cutting camp right there, and we got maximum resources there, 7,000 something, and this will deplete the woods, so these woods will be gone sooner than later. But what we're really going to need in order to get our civilization jump started is quite a lot of farms. Now you gotta be careful with these farms, I've noticed, because farmlands can spread to where you might otherwise put roads. You just got to be careful with that because the roads will automatically build themselves, but some are already built out here, so I think that's plenty for right now. And we'll build a quarry as well to start. We're a little bit limited because this is our city's, I believe they call it like the safety zone or the security zone. It's the only place where you can build to start. You can expand out that radius later on as you go through the playthrough, though. But let's just see if we can max out the number of minerals we're getting here. Oh, wait, no, I stand corrected. These are, in fact, not minerals. These are just mere rocks. Okay, so we have our ancient camp, and eventually we will improve that, but there's quite a lot of menu going on here, too. We're trying to get prerequisites to city center to level 2. So what are our prerequisites? We need 90 population. So we're going to kind of gradually attract population as we go, and this is the attraction meter, so people are very attracted to our city. They want to move around civilized establishments. We can also see a layout of some resources. We have access only to wood, right? Oh, sorry, I stand correct. Oh, actually, you can see everything from the beginning. It's kind of a nice layout here. The only thing is I wish that you could have this overlay while you're placing a building, because that would be amazing. But I just kind of remember where everything is, just to see each resource color-coded. This is a very nice way to do it. Those are really the main menus that I have checked out. A little bit of feedback panel for early access and so on. Oh, you also have this view mode where you can kind of take pictures or do whatever you will. Although I've noticed that the game's animations stop when you're in this mode. So, like, see, there's a horse and carriage right there. But if I turn that on, it actually... Oh, no, are you just moonwalking in place? Look, the horse is just moonwalking in place. Never mind, I stand corrected. All right, goodbye, moonwalking horse. So, what is next to do? So, while we wait for our city center to expand, this is just going to occur over cycles. So, let's just allow this to happen. People are coming in. They like it here. It was terrible in the wilderness. We offer them a place to stay, at least for now. So, what other kinds of things can we do? Well, since you ask, let's go ahead and maybe get some of these blueprints to use. So, blueprints are used to unlock new buildings in the game, and that's what we'll be going back and forth into this blueprint menu over and over again. So if we want to improve our proximity radius, whatever that means, well, we want to build out further, we'll get a surveyor's cabin somewhere else. We can also upgrade our basic camps and things like this to just improve them a bit more. So we actually get more food per field. I really didn't upgrade my farms the last time I played. Now I do want to save some of these because there's a particular building I'm going to need to get more blueprints. But I think I should be okay until then. Yeah, everything is fairly inexpensive right here. So if we're gonna, well, before we develop out, let's just wait for them to kind of build up. Here, we're getting farmlands. It's nice. Now, you do start to kind of overdevelop this center city area. And I can't really, I can influence this, but I can't directly control it. Although I can demolish some of these things. See, like I can demolish a field, for example. What else do we have access to? We'll get access to more of these different, like, areas of influence as we go throughout the game and we start to acquire factions. As we play more and more factions, sort of like special interest parties or political parties will move into our towns, or like powerful families, if you want to think of them like that. Okay, so we did improve our town enough. We have people living here. We have enough resources to upgrade it. And the attraction, I believe it has improved, and it will continue to improve. We are getting more attractive every day. We are going to just check here. So this is our cultural radiance. This can be helped along by attracting more of these factions into our city. However, when we attract these factions to our city, they may begin to exhibit displays of political tension, which will get hairy as we go. As we go, we start to unlock, honestly, a dizzying number of buildings. The first time I played through this, I was just dumbfounded with the sheer number of buildings. There's so many ways to go through, so it does seem to give you options as you go through with each playthrough. I mean, it is pretty much the same goal all the time, like, you know, improve civilization. But do we have access to, let's see, okay, architectural, yeah, architectural office. Okay, fortunately this costs 0, because I don't know how else they would do it. This will make sense in a second. So the architectural office will gradually unlock more blueprints as we go. So the architectural office, does it have any attraction? Oh, it actually does generate bonus attraction. Now, we want to keep this away from, you know, industries. People don't really want to live nearby an industry. It generates a disturbance, the disgust of citizens in this place. So if we go ahead and check out the attractiveness overlay, how attractive are we here? Attractiveness filter. See, it's very unattractive over here. Very, very unattractive. Beautiful in the city. So let's just leave all of this over here. We may develop more industries over here for the mountains, maybe over here for more like wood cutting and stuff. We'll hang out in this nice open field area. Actually, does the farm... The farm does, unfortunately, generate a disturbance. I built that a little bit too close. Anyway, just a couple of things that I'm noticing on my second playthrough. So if this is actually a pleasant place to live, well, you know, maybe we could offset some of the unpleasantness of the farm at the architectural office, which is, of course, much more pleasant to live beside. Oh, and what is this? We have discovered some ancient ruins. So we could repair these, and then we get some kind of mystery bonus. There's a lot of this that's going to come up. There is quite a lot going on in this game, and the resources are going to fill out more as we go. Oh, by the way that the population expands, if we have enough food to feed them, and it's attractive enough, they'll come in. And if not, then the population will just sort of stagnate here. So what are we trying to do right here? We're unlocking a cultural building. We will just continue kind of going through, but we may ignore some of the kind of hand-holding as we go through. I believe this is what we're just getting from early access, so you get this... I guess unless you went through the explore mode, but whatever, never mind that. Okay, so judging from the first time that I played, and seeing as we have this educational focus, let's build an Agoge Center. The Agoge Center is a rigorous Spartan education where young citizens are trained from childhood in various skills. Yes, let's train the youth. Amazing. Okay, let's do that. There are some pretty cool upgrades we can get with this too, but we also have yet even more blueprints. I know I was about to spit out my coffee too. There's so many different opportunities of things to unlock and buy. Let's also unlock level 2 farms, and maybe, you know, we did such an amazing job. I'm just going to keep congratulating myself here at building a multitude of cultural buildings. Let's just unlock all of them at random, pretty much. Okay, so culture. Culture generates more of these 5, what I guess you would call it, well, satisfactions. Satisfactions, everything has kind of non-traditional naming in this game. Like, knowledge is called know-how. So we got a couple of different... It's not like, so, just wood. I mean, I guess you have wood. But, you know, it is what it is. Several non-traditional names will be used. Get used to it. Deal with it. All right, so we are going to build this Agoge Center to maybe educate all of the stupid people that live here. And they'll probably be building around here. So, you know, having some sort of school type of building would be nice. Now, while we're at it, we want to kind of supplement our society in all of these sort of virtues, these satisfactions. So this is going to help satisfy our creativity in our civilization by default, but we want to take care of some other things. So, belonging decreases faction trust loss, but we don't really have any factions yet, so I may wait on that, but that is a very important one. Reduction of incidents. Let's go with the food consumption, because health would be important to invest in right now, but then we'll start to move over to faction trust, because in my last society, all of the factions barricaded themselves into their respective neighborhoods, and no one spoke to each other, and we all got along in the end. It is what it is. Let's continue just building cultural buildings indiscriminately. Let's add in some belonging just to preempt those factions before they even arise. And maybe even an Agoge Center. We'll put this... Whoops, I already just built one of those. Did we build... the Via Aedificium, or in the classical Latin, the Via Aedificium. The V's were W's, as it happens. Right, so we'll build that there. Other snooty comments about classical Latin will be made. Probably some of them will be wrong, because I misremember my... this brings me back to studying Latin in high school. It was a good time. Now you have to access... Well, actually, it was a horrible time, but... Well, rose-tinted lenses, you know? Alright, so we have access to the Horeum, which offers numerous reserve slots and allows the city's various production buildings to be managed more efficiently. And the Maculum, or the Maculum, allows trade routes to be open to other towns in order to buy, sell, and trade resources. So trade can be useful because some of the projects have sort of ridiculous resource counts later on in the game. But for right now, I think we're fine. Okay, so we did get a carver. See how quickly we unlock things? It's like every time I unlock something, I'm describing the next 5 things. I can hardly even keep up with it. So let's see what would behoove us. Observe and manage the city's storages. Well, it might be nice to have more storage. Buying and selling of resources. Yeah, let's have this. So let's go in. That brings us down to fewer blueprints again. Let's just give the city time to catch up. So the Hippocratic Doctors are our first faction, adopted at an early age by the Hippocratic Doctors. And Heidu is now their leader. She insists on firmly following the teachings of the physician Hippocrates, and believes she will one day create the foundations of the medicine of the future, working with a rational, scientific, and ethical approach. That's very funny. They produce cultural points, so they produce learning. This is useful for us because it's going to start to generate bonuses. So yes, it would be a good faction to have in. And also a little bit of tax. You can tax them more and upset them more, or you can tax them not at all, and they'll be very happy with you. And it does give us general cultural influence. So having more factions, generally speaking, a good thing, although tensions can arise, to my understanding. It is quite a complicated system, and this is my second playthrough, so I'm still trying to figure out, but that is my understanding of it right now. Anyway, faction likes the Agoge Center in Ludus Magnus. Amazing, so they're already happy with us. They already like us. And look at this, we just gained access to about 12 new buildings. Already, I am just simply overwhelmed with the sheer number of options. All right, so let's just continue. So prerequisites city center to level 3. So what else do we have to do? Well, we need 300 residents. It looks like we're coming on that without really trying too hard. Let's go ahead and upgrade our farm. Very cool, very cool. We are not generating any food right now. Deal. Okay, so the next thing that we need is clay. We have no clay, and clay is becoming an important resource. See how this... I'm pretty sure we didn't even have all these resources up there a second ago. And now you can see that we are starting to get all the cultural points for... This one was called... This is religion right here. Okay, so we have production, military, religion, learning, generates, yeah, see there? Know-how. Cultural points, commerce, as well as politics. So let's go ahead and maybe do a small quarry. Now this is what I would like to do. I would like to be able to see my clay while I place the building, but we'll just sort of have to remember it. Okay, so as it happens, we don't really have any clay, and what horrible lives we do lead because of this. Oh, well, my friend, it gets better, for now. We're going to put some sort of hut over here where people will see beyond the frontiers. Let's just put it right there. Road is facing in kind of a funny way, but just ignore that. And we'll be able to place more of these as our civilization grows and expands, but for right now, that's just the way it is. So this sort of needs to be touching this last area. This just kind of creates stability, keeping everything in these zones. There's like kind of malices. Think the opposite of bonuses. If we don't do that. Okay, so another one that we're also going to need, and I'm just going to, you know, we've used up 2 of these. This is also a very rich deposit. It's the beach, of course. La 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 la, you love the beach. Yes, you do. Let's go ahead and maybe put some sort of hut over there, and then... Oh, this is so tempting to put a farm over here. There's so much more we could do, man. Loving it. Although we can expand out the distance of these things, too, so that is useful. Maybe we'll build over here as well. Now, I've expanded out so much of my territory, although this is consuming my workers. So of our population, some of them are workers, and we have only a certain number that are kind of disposed to that. We also have wanderers that we can't find attractive districts. Now, we will be able to take care of those with a giant Hooverville later on, which I am going to build, but more on that later. It's one of the game's many wonders. Okay, so that's all of our cultural buildings. We've kind of expanded. We're still trying to get... Oh, all this was an elaborate ruse so that I could harvest. Nah. Here it is. Sand. Whee. Everybody loves sand. Well, that's not true, but... I do. Anyway, let's go ahead and put down, maybe we've got a couple of different types of resources. A quarry can do several different types of things because it's amazing and very special. Let's put a quarry down right there because that looks like a rich deposit of clay. So now we've got clay, and what do you know? Kaloo with the clay. We have food, we have we have wood. We are going to be getting wooden beams soon, though. We got to take care of that. Like I said, it's just a dizzying number of things that we're unlocking. We already have unlocked this, I stand corrected. Cutting camp. What was that? As distinct from... No, we already had that. What is the next thing that I am looking for? Small quarry. Oh, carver. This is what we need to unlock. So we'll... Oh, whoops. No, I take that back. It's carpentry. So to create rubble out of stone, as well as to create sawn logs. Did I get that right? Wooden beams, they are deemed in this game. I do not believe that the placement of these matters at all. Yeah, it does not need to be close to harvesting buildings, which is quite nice because it gives you a little bit more freeform control over this. It seems to me that the ultimate gestalt of this game is to create a beautiful city, not really as much to manage workflows. It's more just about kind of what is the term for this? Like civil architecture, civil engineer, not really civil engineering, urban planning, perhaps, as it relates to socio-political forces. There we go. Wow. I can't believe I got that all out in one mouthful. Amazing. The words I have learned. The Druids of the Isle of Man is at the gates of city. So we have... What do we have? We have the doctors of Hippocrates as well as some Druids now who are joining us. The Druids of the Isle of Man are a group of revered and venerable men and women. Led by Fenella, they are renowned for their mystical wisdom and deep-rooted connection to the land. When they knocked at your door, they were only looking for temporary shelter. Of course, that's how it always begins. But there's no guarantee they will ever leave again. Oh God, why? We may never leave. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, so we do have an installed location of each faction. Like I said, they can get angry and essentially close themselves in their room. If they get angry with us, we can just close these pop-ups. Let's go ahead and see. Can we get one of these? We still can't repair this one. We still need, what is it, clay. What about the other one? Still need clay as well as more sand. So we will just leave those there for now. Although it is nice to see the ruins be built up. I'm just going to say it. I just do it because there's a lot of things in this game that I find I do after playthrough 1 just because they look good and not necessarily because they play well, but the temptation is there. Just look at how... See, I just plopped down a couple of buildings. I'm not even good at planning, just so you know. I mean, if it's not inherently obvious, but look at how beautiful this is. It looks like an early European city, where things just kind of came up out of the earth. Not like American city planning, where, you know, they were like, we're going to make a city. It just kind of sprouted up. Several cycles have passed, and now you have citizens and resources in your warehouse to improve your town center. Amazing. Okay, so we get the notification. Now, sometimes we will want to put this off. For example, when we go over to the next era, I kind of like to keep it, I kind of like to keep building on the classical era before then. So we do have a lot of other... Is this currently... Is how my buildings actually will be increased? I'm not 100% positive about what those indicators mean. So if we have the Hooray-um there... Well, let's see how close we can get it to... Well, more of these districts will pop up anyway. Presumably, people who want to be in them will station themselves therein. Okay, so this is going to bring more health. I keep thinking love when I see that guy because he looks like he's just reaching out to give you a great big hug when you see him. Why shouldn't it be, after all? Anyway, upgrade to Ancient City Center level 3. So we're going from sort of like a Dark Ages sad collection of huts. Ironically, these look slightly more chronologically late than what we will come up to. It's going to look more and more like ancient Rome as we progress, which is quite beautiful, I gotta say. Like the ancient Roman architecture. Even if you were just playing that one era. Oh, and our cultural radiance is spreading. Let's go ahead and check it out. Wonders bonus plus 5.5. So does it mean our wonders actually get more? There's a couple of hover-overs in this game where I'm expecting a dialogue here. I'm not sure if there's in... Sometimes I get it. Maybe something that will continue in early access. Every point you earn increases your city's cultural radiance on the rest of the world. So there is a wider world and events going on that we can kind of influence here as we go. But it's a little bit just kind of like a random die roll with an event. The greater the cultural radiance, the more the best architects of their time will want to settle here, impacting your history for centuries to come. So each faction that arrives agrees. So yeah, like I said, when factions arrive, they want to kind of help improve the city's, excuse me, kind of influence, or that's what they do. It's all a little bit hazy. It all just kind of gets amalgamated into this sort of benefit. So you don't really refuse factions, I find. Unless we have some like brilliant strategy to just get one so that you can sway the elections, which more on that later. There is quite a lot going on here. The culture points produced by your factions can be converted into radiance points. This way the citizens can become a tool for demonstrating the wealth and prosperity of the city. So we can actually invest points of these into this. So let's just put more into education because we like it so much. Now we can use our education for other things later on, but let's just put in some arbitrary. I actually did not know that in my first playthrough. There are so many menus in this game. I'm not going to lie. I just totally missed that, so I'm going to have to read up on that a little bit more. So we get a little bit of attraction. We also are going to get our founder's statue. Let's get some decorations in here. Generally speaking, well, where do we want to attract people? Maybe we want to kind of overcompensate for this wood-cutting camp by putting this honestly Slavic-looking statue over here. I thought this was two men. I realized it's a man and a woman. I thought it was just like walking with your boy down the street, down the dirt road. I am mistaken. There were no streets at this time. Let's just add in indiscriminately more attraction because we want to attract more people to our city. Maybe behind the Horeum, of course. Oh, we are about to unlock the Sonatus. The Sonatus is a fantastic building. Let's go back over here to services. So there are more major buildings. We will unlock the Sonatus, and let's get the the Maculum. It would be, actually, in the classical. To remain as snooty as I have been. Improve the storages. Man, there is a lot to do here. Let's get a Maculum so that we can start to buy and sell resources. That would be nice, and this is going to generate more and more attraction over here. I'm just thinking where I'm going to ultimately put my medieval city center as I progress on. You know, it might behoove us to put the medieval city center over here, because we're going to have to build, yes, that's right, an entire other civilization soon. So let's start to expand out a little bit this way, but not, you know, block ourselves off. And we'll add in esteem and creativity since we seem to be a bit low on those right now. Okay, the city do be growing. It's time to build the Sonatus. So the Sonatus is the place where we will declare decrees. Oh, excuse me, we have the threat of Macedonia has arisen. An emissary brings you a letter from the King of Macedonia, who wishes to conquer territory in order to gain access to the Aegean Sea. He plans to lay siege to That should have been my city name. What am I doing? Amphipolis, whatever, fine, and the neighboring Greek cities, and sees you as a key ally. Okay, so you have the opportunity to kind of sway the course of history. So we could help the Greeks, we could help Macedonia, or we could ask for help here. Really, what does this mean for our city? 50 cycles of, we don't even have that many gold coins, unfortunately. Food, you know, we're actually doing okay on food. So I think, well, we'll get the Ludus Magnus. Let's just see what each thing will do. Positive influence, belonging, satisfaction, to religious, to military. But the Ludus Magnus would be good for creativity. And after all, we have thrown ourselves, like, reckless abandon at creativity. So let us just continue down this ill-advised path of one-sidedness. Let's, leave that. I guess, you know, we have all the ruins. We have another... The Sophists have taken up residence here, so this is totally fine, I'm sure. But anyway, what I was about to say, and this is kind of the nature of this game, is just so many events transpire around you that intelligently picking your way through them will shape the city. It seems to me, between this playthrough and my last one, there are similar crossroads, but I suppose if we were to go freeform, which is being developed right now, then that would be more... like varied, and as we get more and more far up through or further and further up through civilization, I suppose that will be more branching and labyrinthine. Let's go ahead and get maybe... So we're still short on wood and stone. And yeah, we just have to kind of up all of our resource games, man. Oh, you know what else we're going to need soon is a tilery. How often do you have to say that? Well, we're getting there. So let's just build a little bit more in production. Okay, so one theme, a core theme of this game is that you will deplete many of the areas of resource. Although there is a production guy that I could have taken to not have to do this as often, but I didn't, and maybe I should have. So I'm just going to have to suffer the consequences of my decision making. So let's go ahead here, and now that we've got all of this, we will just continue to upgrade these camps. Improvement. Well, we had, what, 6,000 wood here? It should take us quite a while to get through that. And look at how much more wood there is around still to be had by me. Right, so we're probably just about ready for the Sonatus there. And the tilery, you know, yeah, we'll put it... this is actually going to generate a malice. A malice will be had. So let us put the tilery maybe somewhere nice and far away. Maybe with the farm, because nobody cares about the farm. Yeah, there we go. Nice. All right, so we put all the bad things. The threat of Macedonia. Defense was a success. Fantastic. Good. We did provide the food. So we unlock the Ludus Magnus, which means the great game. Or like the great sport. Or a place of sport, I suppose, is what it really is. Which appears to be what it is. So we have, we never have enough money. Or stone or anything. That is the next thing. All right, let's just continue upping our resource. All right, so one thing that I do notice, to be fair, with this is that a lot of the deposits have a tendency to run out in this game. So you do kind of need to build wide. So, I don't know, maybe it wasn't worth it to upgrade some of those things. But 1,014, nothing to scoff at, nothing to scoff at. A goodly haul for us. As well as maybe another one over here. Ooh, if we can fit this one in. Outside a rocky area. I feel like I'm outside of a rocky area. Part of the rotate. So, oh, okay, I did get it. Yeah. Some of the building can be kind of tricky, especially if you build farms near the edge of your development, since your city tends to expand out to its, like, radius. It just becomes tricky. All right, so what else do we have? Fortifying the city. Counselors have drawn to your attention. Building a rampart. Are we actually able to... Oh, yeah, we are able to do the rampart right here. So we can build the rampart. I believe we can build it... Yeah, ramparts have an attraction of 250 over the entire protected area, so getting a really big rampart is going to make our entire city even more attractive. Should I just do, like an insane person? Look at this, man. Wow. I did not do this the first time. I think I just boxed in the very center of the city, but if we could make a nice, goodly, attractive area... for ourselves. But before we do that, again, like I said, we just have to keep kind of getting more and more of this production. So we aren't good enough. Let's go ahead and put in more. Probably cover every single wood. Yeah, this is fine. It's just constantly building these things up. Okay, more cutting camps. I believe we have one over there, so we have one to cover those woods, one for over here. I think we can increase the radius of these, but even so, 2,000 is going to last us quite a while, and we already did all the expanding we had to early on. On the downside, this is going to use up quite a lot of workers as we go, but we'll just have to overcompensate with more farms. There we go. Look at how much wood we are creating, man. My God. Right, continue to put the farms on the outside. Confirmed, add fields. We can actually increase the number of fields. I did not realize this. So you do have a little bit more customization than I thought you did. I did not. That is hiding there, that slider. Very well, yea, verily. So now we get one, now I believe it's 10 fields linked to the farm. We should probably upgrade the other one first then. It's kind of funny that you can't do that earlier. Alright, this may backfire horribly, who knows, but I just thought it would be fun. Let's go ahead and try to just increase out the size of our city's rampart as much as possible. Factions inside, the ramparts produce 50. I mean, it seems like only a good thing. There are a couple of, like, blurbs in this game where you read about what it's actually producing, and it doesn't really do that much, but the last time the ramparts were only around the middle of the city. Now I'm just like, yeah, screw it, let's just do it everywhere. Yeah, just wall in the entire outer lying region and see how that goes. I mean, if it makes the city more attractive, I think why not? All right, what else? Trading with the outside world? Who needs the outside world when you have your computer? Let's go ahead and... I kind of want to just get this bit done with, so let's go ahead and trade them 1 wood. Do it. All right, that will get done with the quest. Building the rampart. Okay, and then the next one is the Sonatus. So the Sonatus is the place, like I said, where we do decrees. Let's go ahead and maybe put that right about here. Only thing that I find slightly funny about the controls in this is that rotate is with Z and X. We have enough to upgrade the... Oh, cool. We can upgrade our city center now, too. And so let's do that while we do this. So we are going to level 4. And see how our buildings have evolved? I don't know if you've noticed this, but since the beginning, we were living in these kind of Dark Age hovels. And now we are living in slightly less bad Dark Age hovels. Life is getting better. Let's go ahead and get... I think this creativity here too, that seems to be the area in which we're lacking. So what's going to happen next after we've got ancient trade going now? Ooh, we actually have the reserve now too. Cutting camp, all clear. So this is actually... I didn't actually build this structure the last time, so you don't really have to do these. I'm going to because it's important to me. So the Sonatus will open up the politics window as it just has. It's going to be a building in the next era that will allow urban planning. And I think know-how comes up in the next era, but it may work here, too. We just have the Agoge Center. Let's unlock more buildings, shall we? We really haven't done that much in terms of culture. Let's just unlock everything indiscriminately. Arena... what's the I had one of these before. It was Religious Center... Well, what could we do with education, maybe? We have a Schola. What else do we have? Well, we have the Ludus Magnus already. Maybe if we built more of these, we could get, like, go really hard into the learning path and see how that does. The last time I was just kind of general with everything, but you can see this time I've really gone hard into education. Because I believe that the children are our future. And here we go. We already have an Agoge Center. So that's attracting in more people of that sort. I think we'd better just save up money for a Ludus Magnus. Yeah. Alright, we have that as well as... Whoops-a-daisy, I forgot to buy the bricks. So we just have to wait on that. Alright. What else can be done? Yeah, this will be in the library in the Middle Ages. So we don't have this yet, and we can't get it even in this era. We need to advance to the next era without getting any sort of crises or anything. No funny business. But the types of people that we have here, these are the senators in our election. So these are the factions that have been elected, or one of their members has been elected. So we have 5 different factions, but yet one of them doesn't hold a seat on the Senate. Well, that's because they just didn't get elected in there. You can bribe people. You can use corruption. You can also... use all the different various means and ways to, like, here, see all the educational faction will support all of these, but then here we go, if we pick a commerce pact, or what would you call these things? Decrees, I mean. These things will, like, the faction of the same color will support their own decrees. Although many of them do more or less the same thing, like reduce tensions. Just how can you try to get their support? So we've, healthily stayed with the learning faction. Or we'll see how healthy it is. Anyway, let's just go ahead and repair one of these things. We have some spare resources right now. And then maybe think about what other kinds of decrees we want to do. So really right now the quest is to just improve the decrees. We just need more resources in general of everything. And also, too, you know, let's make blueprints a little bit faster. So we're at antiquity, and we'll get to later eras later on. Let's do, yeah, we'll buy the brickwork for 500. So now, gosh, I'm just listening to myself right here. Really, this game does throw a ton of stuff at you. And there's a lot of options. The first time I was playing through, I was just sort of like, oh, this is just a lot of stuff, and it seems to just totally lack focus. Once you've played through once or twice, you will get an idea of, okay, I could specialize in this type of thing to make a really overpowered civilization that, you know, gets to, like, it's prosperity through X, like whether that's military or through learning or something like that. I've selected learning here. Hopefully we'll get to it in the next era. Maybe I should have picked one that we would have gotten to earlier, though, like production, but I found the production one kind of boring. All right, so factions have been installed now into new districts. We'll just do all of that. Let's go ahead and get some decrees now. So, what else could we do? We could spend money in order to corrupt people so that we can make sure that something gets passed. Because we've got... Do we actually have to pay more for the duration? So, creativity satisfaction of 4 every cycle increases creativity satisfaction. Reduce construction costs for education building by 20%. Is it worth it, though? I guess the education people are pretty much in charge here. Well, there's not so many factions that there is tension yet, so we won't worry about that. Satisfaction is always good, but I think now is the time to invest in more buildings. So these guys are probably going to do this. Let's just go ahead and maybe... Is it going to actually change the vote at all? Well, you know, we can always do another decree. Oh, but we do have to pay the money. Okay, whatever. I'll make it a little bit longer. Okay, so if this gets passed, which we should find out in another second or two. Have I actually voted on that? Submit. Did I do it, or is that the number of cycles? We should get information on it here. Do I need to... I may need to corrupt... I may need to go back to the election to corrupt people. Oh, wait, it did go into effect. It still just wants me to corrupt people, though. Alright, well, whatever. I am beyond criticism. Let's go ahead. Now that we have made it cheaper to build these things, we can do it. But I guess we can't do it with the Ludus Magnus yet. Huh. Oh, no, we just need to wait another minute or two. We are so close with the number of bricks. Actually, this won't, like, get in on the number of bricks. This is... No. Hang on a minute. I have to figure this out. Okay, I have bought bricks at Pergamon to create the Ludus Magnus. Everyone will love the Ludus Macutus, whatever it is, and have a great time at it. Although, we are starting to see one of the many limitations now of this game. Here we go. And that is building placement, which you do need to be a special planning person if you want to... See, how is this a rocky area? That looks perfectly fine to build to me. I guess a little bit crowded, but whatever. I've seen some very small districts that I've gotten away with. Yeah, but the city, let's see how the city's doing. So the city's expanded a bit. Trying to get a kind of a sense. It's as if we planned it. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the decrees. Are we able to have more than one decree? No. Nope. Okay, well then let's just vote on... let's make everyone happier with something, and we will... Did I corrupt? I believe I've corrupted them. Here we go. Yes, I have corrupted... Have I corrupted? Yes, I've corrupted... Oh, but I didn't actually corrupt the faction. Hang on a second. I have to go pay some people more money. All right, we've actually reached the maximum number of decrees. There's another like specialization path that can do multiple at a time, so that is unfortunate. Although, we can get a look at our factions here. We've got the Wine Growers Guild, the Collegium... This word is just too difficult. Numerariorum. Yeah, I think I said that right. But you can tax people more. That is an option. Or you can tax them less to make them like you more. So you can up the trust, but albeit when you do that, you make people more unhappy with you. You do want to keep the trust so that you keep your cultural influence and stuff like that, but it is what it is. All right, politicize the city. I don't know why we didn't actually... Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what just happened. I do believe I had this happen to me... I'm not sure if I just totally missed something, but before I just had time completely stop. And even when I hit the time 2 times button, nothing happened. So I don't know if I just bugged out on my decree there or something like that. But I will have to try that again. Just give me 1 more second. Okay, so I have voted. Only one of the educational factions was against this, so I managed to do this properly. Okay, so we have 2 options here. Sassi di Matera. So this is basically a giant Hooverville, and it is very helpful. But I haven't used this mausoleum of Halicarnassus yet. Close the building. So he's dead, he's grieving widow, blah, blah, blah. Actually, it doesn't really... Transforms up to 80 Wanderers home, so it pretty much just gets rid of Wanderers, which is amazing. Just a whole problem that it kind of takes away. Those cultural buildings so they do not degrade during the passage of age. This is useful, but it's something that we can simply buy back later. I do like having a place for these Wanderers, because it can be kind of... Well, it can be kind of annoying to have Wanderers around. Sorry, I know I'm supposed to be... positive about everybody, but I don't want them around. I want them in some special place. So, do better. So, along with all of that, we are bringing in workers. I think that the best thing we can do to bring in maybe yet even more workers is to improve the food situation in our town. So I think I'm going to go back here. This is a very nice project to have done, simply because it doesn't really cost anything more to get a farm, does it? I mean, you wouldn't say it would. But the next thing we're going to have to do is, so, this is our city. You would think that it just kind of upgrades to medieval, or Middle Ages, which is going to be our next step on our majestic journey into the future. However, that being said, this city doesn't really upgrade. It just sort of stays here. So we're going to start to kind of move out this away, because we do have more natural resources to claim over on this side. But right up at the end of this, we're going to be starting to come up on the Middle Ages. Let's go ahead and build, maybe expand out a little bit more this way. And maybe right there. And we'll get a different kind of frontier, which is a little bit more unstable than our current one. And construction of a wonder. Okay, so this is our final task. And we'll see if we can get this. The last time I just put it in kind of a useless spot, but this time we'll see if we can get it somewhere better. Oh yeah, and I can get more farms as well. So let's get a small farm right about there. Yeah, we don't want to totally destroy these woods, but actually, it would probably be better off here because there's so many open fields right here. Other than the fact that I just made it more unpleasant for everyone to live there. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. Now I'm being... Let me just not put that there. I don't want to put my farms right next to my buildings. Oh, this is a great spot for it. Except have we fully developed here? Who cares? Let's just build it there anyway. Alright, maybe the next thing I will do is quarry over here, just because there's so many other resources we simply haven't exploited yet. Oh no, we are currently exploiting them, never mind. Collegium Scriptorum. Everyone is welcome. Not really going to make too much distinction here. Improve my influences, and don't hurt each other. Don't do that. Alright, so we're at 47, 48, and we are just coming up on 49 and 50. That gives us enough for Sassi di Matera. I am probably butchering that horribly, but whatever. So this is a giant Hooverville for everyone. We'll be having the medieval city center next, but for right now, let's just... So we need this to be touching one of our control zones, one of our security areas. There we go. So that's going to take them 200 days to build this. And we fortunately have that many cycles left, otherwise this would have been bad, but... Oh, we may actually get to the very end of the era here. Oh, I should build some more stuff that will be useful to me. So many of these cultural buildings will degrade, and then afterward, we can rebuild them, but it gets kind of rough. Anyway, the thing that I find does very well from era to era is upgrading all of these production facilities, because they're going to stick around no matter what happens. So we'll always have this. We'll, upgrade that a little bit faster. We'll just try to get as many things as we can to level 2. Okay, we're starting to get some tension between the Sophists and the Ptolemaic family. We want to stage a vote here. We have pretty much the full involvement of all of the educational factions, so we will just see if we can decrease their tensions there. We'll improve that over the next couple of cycles as we go. In the meantime, amazing unanimous. See, this is very helpful when we all agree and no one dissents. Sounds like the beginning of a very dangerous political movement. Other than that, we are going to start improving our architectural office so that we can start to get some blueprints faster, so we're just about ready for that. And that will help us build even more buildings. We will... I guess the one issue here with just welcoming in so many different factions is the fact that a lot of them probably don't play as nicely with the others. I'm starting to get more into the kind of nuance of this, but I find that if they aren't really aligned... like having 2 or so, but more than that, it just starts to get kind of... like I had the military faction block off everything earlier, and it was truly horrible. Okay, our society has progressed about as much as I think it will in the ancient era. Here we are. Whoops. That's all for now with these people. We are going to go to the next age. Now, there are 2 more ages beyond the next one we'll be going. So you get the Middle Ages, Renaissance, and Enlightenment. We won't be getting to the other ones because those are beyond early access. So we're just going to go to the Middle Ages. So this is the end of antiquity, and you get kind of this, best of montage. Oh, yeah, improved ancient city center. Oh, the crowd goes wild. The Agoge Center. The Forum. Honestly, kind of cool to see all of the things that you were able to create. Fine, it is what it is. Probably could have done a little bit more, but whatever. That's all we had time for in this time. So, a nice cinematic, though, nonetheless. When you supported the Greek cities in their defense against the Kingdom of Macedonia, troops were so galvanized, now the threat of Macedonia has arisen again. Battles grandiose that your common enemies still shudder, but now the Hellenic kingdom, formed by the Greek cities, is dreaming of conquest. Okay, so now we have Rome rising. So, do we support Greece or Rome? Well, if we condemn Rome, then we lose 1 trade route, but we do get the Corinthos trade route, which is kind of nice. Resources, we've already got a lot of resources. In this one case, I'm actually going to support Greece, and we will condemn the founding of Rome, despite the fact that I actually like the Romans in real life. I enjoy their... well, until they got horribly corrupt, anyway. Anyway, let's have... family. It's been hundreds of years since the family has had a notable leader, but we'll stay with the people that we had before, and then as well as education plan. Yeah, we'll just go hard in on education. And we've been supporting these commercial enterprises. Let's just do this again because that could be used to pay for stuff. Okay, erosion of time. This one is important. So which structures will we retain from age to age? We need to select the ones that are probably going to give us the best bonus, so we want to just pick probably the Theatrum. Theatrum would be a good one to do. Or the... I just like to say it that way. All right, let's keep that. Among all of these, the Necropolis is also providing quite a hefty bonus, so let's have that. Ooh, we get up to 4. Did we get 4 the last time? I'm not entirely certain of that. I don't think that we did. Anyway, this is around 350. Oh, we built 2 of these. Oh well, then we'll keep 1. Actually, we will just pretty much be supporting our learned factions. And let's also make sure that we have a good amount of belonging, because this is important for the next era. Okay, so we could double the active know-how slots and production by plus 10% for each ruin discovered. Ooh, since we have discovered so many ruins, let's stay blueprint production. Okay, so then this would just give us basically more options. or the double the active know-how slots. I really want to make use of this know-how and see if it makes a major difference in our campaign, because I just didn't get to use much of it last time. So I'm going to do this yet again, although you can shift your focus. Now, the all-important moment, and we get a kind of a greater area on our city. Isn't this crazy just how much room we have to expand? Too far from downtown or the Wonder. So we need to build somewhat close to our old city. But I think I'm going to have my new medieval city center right here. So you retain everything from the old eras, which is maybe even slightly counterintuitive. Like, you might not think it would work that way. Let's actually have these. It will only expand over time. We'll do this. Just so that we cover even more ground. We'll do it like right there. So plenty of room now for our medieval city center. So now we get a couple of new objectives. As the medieval city center grows, our old one will remain there, but now a lot of it is in ruin. We still keep some of the buildings that we've decided to retain, but we also can repair our old stuff, but it's going to require a lot more resources. So stone, sand, and clay, just lots of it, which we won't have for a while. I don't think we can actually repair any of these right now. Maybe better use of our time doing something else. Also, too, how attractive is our old land? Okay, so still a fairly attractive area to live, but our medieval city center perhaps even more attractive now, as it stands. So we are going to get new buildings, new look on all of our buildings too, so they look much more advanced technologically. Although I kind of prefer the classical architecture. I think it's very beautiful. Anyway, we are continuing to just sort of upgrade this, so we sort of start again, albeit this time we have, wow, 2,700 attractions, so we really have a lot more opportunity here. So let's try to focus on things that we are kind of lacking, and let's just do this right here. We're probably going to have a lot of buildings coming up here. Maybe I could optimize these a little bit better, but I still haven't quite figured that one out. We'll just do... Oh no, not belonging, although belonging will be important. Let's do safety. Just while we have room to prepare this. Right, as well as workers, we'll need more of those. As far as everything else, proximity, we'll get to that in a minute. We just kind of want to make sure that we have enough resources of every type. So the next big thing that's going to appear, we'll have blueprints for, which is why I tried to upgrade that as much as I possibly could. We're going to have mines. So mines are useful because now we can get precious metals and other ores from the earth. So we will... we could even get maybe one upgrade while we're at that. So now we can get a mine. Can we actually double over here? We could double over, but it might not even be worth it. Alright, so we just kind of want to keep all of our production on the outskirts of this city. But let's see if we can get somewhere even more remote with all of this. So we have gold here. You know, on the outskirts of this city may be a great place to find some gold. Ooh, look at all of these precious veins here. This is a great spot for this. Yes. Absolutely. Although the tricky part with this, and what I noted the last time that I played, was that, look, this is a great spot to get gold and silver, although, or gold and iron. Wait, I think it's iron, right? Although now my fields are blocking it. So you're sort of overdeveloped in some ways, and you need to kind of come back on what you started. All right, I've got one iron vein mining operation going here, and now the last one, like I just said, was gold. So gold kind of pops up in a couple of funny ways over here. All right, maybe this will go over here. So we do a second mine in this location. And again, we can't really fit... we need to do better. Okay, we have come to the fall of Constantinople, for which we may be rewarded in... Ooh, steel. This would be amazing. We're going to be making use of a lot more of our trading now, because many of the resources are somewhat precious. And, you know, we have only so many cycles to do the things that we are going to do. So let's go ahead. We also have passive income from these unlocked routes. This is really nice. Let's go ahead and continue unlocking yet even more of them for just yet more passive income. Although I guess this is very expensive, but, you know, free route, why not? So now we have used up almost all of our gold. That's good. We got better use out of it. Although we do have a couple of wanderers now around. Sus. Evolving with the times. What else do we have? Cultural buildings. Evolve a cultural building. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. All right, I have just begun to repair the old buildings of the past, so preserving the past. Oh, this is actually only a repair. Oh, so we do actually have a different evolution. I did not know this the first time. I will be back in a minute then. I was merely repairing my old buildings. All right, the next thing we're going to do is educate the uncultured and ignorant swine living in the Middle Ages up here. So we are going to have a universitas. And along with that, I guess we'll improve the esteem, because that looks a little bit low right now. But soon-ish, we should be able to get a library. I believe I have done... Have I done my repairing of the cultural buildings? Okay, that needs 24 more cycles. Beyond that, it's just next city center, which mostly just means more population. Oh no, we do need more resources. I stand corrected. Okay, we now have enough to improve our medieval city center, which should get us up to... Sooner or later, we're going to be getting to urban planning rules and know-how. We just have to unlock some of the services of the medieval era. So here we go. We have, yes, Master Builder's Office, Library, and House of Grievances. So very important stuff. We're going to go into... I guess we have to actually just unlock those, so we'll go to Services. I think the one that we mainly want for our civilization is the library, because this is going to give us access to that know-how, so we can put all these cultural points from education to work. So that will be our next big thing to do. And for that, we need lots of sand, iron, and... Oh, all right, just take them indiscriminately. And bricks. Again, this is where the trading comes in. So we are using the maculum, or the maculum here, if you will. Building's running out of resources. Where are we running out of resources? Oh, when we actually... Well, when we run out of resources, of course. Let's go ahead and just expand it and not worry about that, because we can just continue doing that. And... yeah. One thing I will add that would be really nice is it is sometimes difficult to spot a building, so... This would be similar to in Cities Skylines, but it would be nice if you could just see a highlighted version of any resource production building related to the highlighted resource, because I can't tell that I'm... Like, I have a gold mine right here, but it's hard to tell that I've already kind of worked on it with this node. So that would be a nice thing if we could just visualize that somehow. Let me see, that's the rest of that. Yeah, because right now I'm just trying to expand my new... all my new minerals, especially. Iron would be good. Yeah, because we need a lot of it now. Okay, we have achieved everything required in order to build a library. Yes, a library. Amazing. So we can build this over here, I suppose. Or we could build it over there. That would improve the education and interest in learning over in that side of the city. So let's go ahead and do that. Here we go. The library is coming across. I know we're supposed to be getting House of Grievances, but, well, we'll get that in a second. House of Grievances is also... Well, that's going to be sort of the new seat of government. We still just need... Yeah, you see, all of these new building projects just have these big resource requirements, though. But we do have time. 1,818 days. But let's get this first so that we can get these big know-how bonuses. Finally. We've been saving up for this all game. None of the other factions, other than the ones that we've lowered taxes on or have tension with them. Alright, and now we have know-how used from the Middle Ages onward. Skills enable the application of exclusive effects that are basically just bonuses. And royal... Oh, so we do actually have an upgrade for this later. So, printing. Let's see what we have, what have we unlocked. And some of the know-hows are just never obtained. So, it's when... well, it's whatever technology you've been using. Actually, do we get some of this from ruins? I'm not 100% positive about this, but yeah, maybe we have a chance of getting this from... Let's just see. Alright. Anyway, what do we have? Purchase price of commercial resources. -5. Okay, that's not that good. Whatever, fine. I mean, I might as well take it, though. And generation of blueprints. Plus 10%. Not bad. Not bad. More blueprints. I mean, basically an architectural office upgrade. It's just kind of fine, though. There's nothing that crazy about it. I guess the next thing we could do would be to evolve a building. Oh, well, you know, we have so much education. We have a plague coming at our society. Alright, very well, fine. Other than that, let's go ahead and just evolve a building and build a house of grievances over here. All right, the population is growing larger and increasingly unsustainable, which requires this is why I insisted so much on getting farms going before. One thing I'm noticing is that really, while on the one hand it's nice to have specialization, I also just don't have as many options as I had in my earlier playthrough. Of course, you don't have the tension of everyone infighting with each other when you have all these different faction types. But there's something I kind of miss about the constant frustration, you know? Like, there was something oddly nostalgic about it. Although it does cause the society to be a bit more, let's say, balanced. Just something about it, man. Okay, so since I don't have much else I want to do with all of these points, I'm just going to sort of throw all of them at improving our cultural radiance here. So if we invest here, and then are we actually able to put in, say, another 200? Oh, I guess we must get limited by each point type that we can spend. Can we do that? Okay, yeah, and we can do that. So let's say 200. Invest that. Okay, so now we have small city, city, medium city, bishopric, town, bastide, and queen of cities. So all of this can be ours for the price of all of our points, which, honestly, I just have not used these in their other purposes, but this is fine. Let's do, we have 70, that probably won't be enough to do anymore, but all right, so we're getting some other types of bonuses. There's just a lot of different areas. It's kind of like civilization in that way. You wouldn't just go, or you could go really hard into one area, but it may behoove you to be just a little bit more balanced. Or totally don't do that. Just do the opposite and then lean even harder into whatever crazy strategy you're trying to do. Although some of these do cost... well, actually, we already do have our library out, so we're good with that. Anyway, we're getting ready to evolve that over there, as well as the House of Grievances. And look at our medieval city now, coming up in similar fashion. Another thing that you can do here is... Do I have on my district panel? No, there is a way that you can influence the visuals on these, where fewer houses are built or more, but I can't figure out if it's actually anything functional in the gameplay. I think it's just visual, which seems slightly odd, but it is what it is. Okay, our cutting camp is running out. We will just get rid of that, and yeah, just kind of continuous improvements here. Okay, so our medieval town center has grown immensely, and we now have a lot of workers living here. It's kind of like an exponential improvement, sort of, in a way. You know, I mean, if we can leverage all of those new improvements over our old town, too. And what you might start to see is that the old town starts to take on the look of the new. Somewhat this will occur, but also somewhat it will just stay as it has been. Anyway, if this is like my last playthrough, that is to say. Okay, we can switch this over now. Let's swap resources. The nice part, it's kind of tricky keeping with your resource zones from the beginning, so you kind of have to keep expanding as you go. It's the next thing that we have cultural. So there were some things that I wanted to evolve, except we just haven't unlocked them yet, and we just don't have the... Whatever it is, the buildings, the blueprints, we just don't even know that they exist yet. So we are stuck. We are stuck, man. I want to say that this arrow means evolution is allowed, possibly, but we can't really go back to the older era. So we are a little bit stuck right here as we are. Other than that, yeah, let's just continue building these services. Master Builder's office. So this will allow you to change the appearance of neighborhoods. And as this game is very beautiful, look at how the neighborhoods just sprout up there. Amazing, right? So we'll go ahead and put in these. And steam, belonging, yes, all of this is good. The next thing that we'll need is House of Grievances. Okay, so now with the Master Builder's Office, with this building, all urban planning rules and neighborhoods can be modified, influencing the risks and aesthetics of the city, or integrating wanderers. So this is where we will start to see factions kind of barricading themselves off. Honestly, this is kind of a tricky one to gauge. Oh, you can actually tell wanderers that they should live in one spot. Probably if we were to make the city more sparsely populated, we would decrease tension. But what would be the fun in that? So I think let's just leave it like that. And we already have most of the wanderers living in that wonder that we built. We have only 7 wanderers. throughout the city, after all. Only 7 homeless out of 5,400. What is the rate on that? Slightly over 0.1%. That's actually a pretty good rate, but now we do have a city under tension. So tension with its neighbors, the Scholastica students. They didn't like the Scholastic Book Fair that much. Just lower their taxes until they feel better about it all. Who else do we need to bribe and subjugate? No, that's pretty good. Okay, I'll allow it. Okay, we have enough for our House of Grievances now so that everyone can celebrate Festivus. Of course, everyone's favorite holiday. Let's put that down. And we will do, what are we lacking? And maybe a little bit more belonging here. So this is going to evolve our government structure from what we had before, which was the Senate, or you had consuls in the Senate, and so on and so forth. But now, coming into the Middle Ages, we have a different structure. The one thing is that we can't actually evolve some of these, which is funny because I can still unlock, I can go back in time to antiquity to unlock more of these different types of buildings, but I'm not sure if it's just something I hadn't built before. You know, I seem to have to unlock them, but let's just see if we unlock all of those old things. Will this open up for us? Oh no, we actually can't. That's slightly odd. I wonder why. I may, you know, maybe if I had just done that back in time before I ran out, I wouldn't have been stuck here. Okay, so as you can see, we can go over to a district now. Let's just actually have this effect take place. So let's pick maybe this district here, this really big one. And we will just say, everyone get out. We'll just modify it, just for fun right now, just to show you how you can change the city. For family interludes, increase safety of all. Let's increase safety, so we'll build toward Windsor Castle. This is just interesting that you can kind of influence the development of the city visually, as well as... I'm not actually sure, does this actually have a gameplay effect, has been my one thing. So, if it's made of houses or empty spaces, only thing here is I've moused over this, urban planning rules, and, so you can improve the, I guess you just get more room for people, which might increase tension. But just a little bit here, I do wish some of these hover-overs had a little bit more information on them, because some of them do and some of them don't. Like, certain icons are universal. I gotta say, and I know this is different, but I really appreciate the way that Paradox does this now, and I think that it's a good example of stuff with, like, Crusader Kings, or I know they've brought this into more of their games where you can literally just hover over menus. Just that type of feature here would be very, very useful, or even just one basic hover over, because it seems to be just a little bit sporadic right now, but that is my one wish list item. Other than that, it looks like we won't get very much further out there, but we have 2 more or less separate civilizations. It looks like over here, though, we're starting to kind of evolve into our more modern buildings. Honestly, not 100% sure what to attribute this to. Maybe the attractiveness of this area is better. Is that the attractiveness? It's all more or less the same in attractiveness, so it is what it is, but... Alright, so the last thing that we have to do is get another wonder for Castle Windsor, and we are lacking in the resources for that right now, but not by too much. Now, here's the funny thing about Castle Windsor. When you build it, the playthrough actually ends. So I don't really want to build it right now, because normally this would put you up to the next age, although I do believe that's the final thing of this stage. We've had relatively little strife in our society. Before, people were barricading themselves off from each other, but I guess I learned enough lessons in my first playthrough, and I built a much larger wall this time as well, which I'm not sure if that affected it in any way, but, yeah, for right now, I just kind of want to evolve some of these buildings or see if I can actually do this. Oh, no, I've actually got a new event because I have created a famine. If you don't survive, that is not particularly good, so let's maybe do that. A little bit more of that will improve these farms. Fortunately, it is kind of a positive-sum game here. I've never had it where I just felt like, well, duh. Just continue to accept all the factions, regardless of who they are. I think we just trade for the rest of this once we get food back and up and running. All right, so the last resources we haven't got are gold leaves, as well as, I believe this is what, steel bars? Yeah, so steel bars, these are the last things we need. As you can see, there's just so many other options that we didn't take. I really didn't do a production focus. I did a kind of like a learning educational focus. I don't know if I really like this one this time, just because you're so limited to what you kind of roll here. Some of these are better, to be quite honest. Like, let's see, loss of political authorities, trust. Kind of nice if you're struggling with trust, like I was in the last playthrough. But are any of these much better? Gemstones harvesting plus 5%. Attraction outside the ramparts, maybe a little bit. But yes, some of these may have been better utilized, I would say. And then not having the know-how just kind of held us back. But yeah, kind of guess and test. Maybe I would have just gone with a simpler production focus the next time. Anyway, beyond that, it doesn't seem like we've actually got a lot of these buildings. Oh, no, no, really. I guess I'm not going to be able to evolve some of these, although they are nice buildings to have. But it's not really what we're looking for at this point. Okay, we're out of a lot of resources. I think from here, it's mainly just securing tons of resources for trade. Okay, we have enough to get to the highest level of our cultural radiance. Amazing, right? Isn't that, actually, we've got, I guess we gotta do 400. For some reason, you can't just go over the max. Little things here and there like that. That just seems slightly odd. Like, why can't I just, why doesn't it hit an overflow or something like that? Or like I can do 13, but I can't do, wait, can I do 1? No, yeah, for some reason it won't let me do that. Oh, whatever, we have hit the cultural radiance. Maximized. I don't think we'll be doing any evolving. The wonder, I already told you that the playthrough ends when we do that, so we're just sort of making this as good a civilization as it can be, and we may actually be able to get up to 7,500 population, at which point we get another improvement, which would be amazing. We just need to attract in lots of people now. I must have learned something in the last playthrough. I'm feeling good about this. Okay, so we have crossed the river and we are now making our way to the other side. Yes, the other side. So we've basically taken all of our land and made it into just a massive farm to feed our growing population. Instead of going straight for the wonder, I just wanted to see how big I could get this city. And actually, it is quite large. It's even larger, I believe, than our medieval area, even with all of its, classical era. Or ancient era, with all of its cultural buildings. So to see this go so high is immensely gratifying. I think we will just continue building small farms across the river over here because we just need so many of them. And maybe there's some other way to do this. You know how you have like a food focus or a production focus in Civilization? We're kind of getting, or I get a similar feel to that here playing this game. So let's go ahead and just fill the entire region with farms as far as we can from cities so that we don't interrupt the people. Maybe make it slightly less attractive to them, but whatever. We aren't really affecting that main city area without totally destroying our wood production. We are at 7,000. We just need another 500 pop. So I really love the way that this game just zones off different plots of land. They always feel just so organic and perfectly constructed. So visually, you know, we haven't really talked about this game, but it's just sort of something that's been coming up the entire time as I've played. It is a beautiful game, effortlessly beautiful. I suppose you could say that many cities look the same, but if you saw my last city and how much it had failed, you might think otherwise. But it really does look like something, you know, distinctively different from a lot of what else I make. Oftentimes I just wind up with grids, roads, and so on and so forth. But these, I think maybe through the use of circles and different radii, it's just coming across as like something that looks real if you flew over it in a plane or something like that. So that being said, we have cemetery. Do we have any of the other buildings that I had mentioned before that I wanted? No. Okay, we can improve our city now. We have the 7,500 pop. Yes. See how big the city gets. Unfortunately, I don't believe that circle expands if we keep highlighted over it. So let's just leave that. And there we go. Okay, yes, it is a much bigger, nicer area that we have to work with here. So this is our civilization's growth. Now we have so many workers ready. We could take them off of farming and stuff like that. Do we have enough for Windsor Castle just so we could get it? Yeah, maybe we'll get Windsor Castle, although the game will just end. I mean, this is more or less where we're at in early access right now. So we get a general idea of the faction management. You know, I think I played too well this time that the factions weren't fighting. I'm probably still missing a lot of stuff because this is still just my second playthrough. But man, look at it. I don't know why I'm not getting like perfect camera smoothness, or maybe there's just a little bit more there, because this game is really truly visually beautiful, and to have that same type of camera work that you did in City Skylines would be amazing. Although if you take off the if you just go into visual mode, you do get this. It just doesn't really have as much smoothness. It's just kind of like, it's simple, there's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes I think that the cameras in other games are a little bit too smooth, but I mean, just look at it. It's incredible. And to consider that you'll have 2 more eras, despite the fact that there are a couple of little things where there's like some jank, or I think that something could just use a little bit of polish, this is a really unique idea. So I just want to say hats off to, I believe it's 5 PM Studios, a fun name. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing out there really like this right now, so it's pretty sweet. Anyway, let's go ahead and get that wonder built and see what that looks like. Okay, I've traded for everything I need, and now I am able to build, yes, that's right, Windsor Castle, and now we can expand our territory. I don't really know where to go to. I guess we could build it all the way over here. Just whichever area we're trying to expand to the most, although we will unfortunately not wind up being able to play in this area at all, because the game just kind of ends right now in early access, which is really too bad, because as your civilization continues to expand, you can still kind of go back to these older places, and considering that, you know, we would have to redevelop some of these ancient areas, I think it's a neat concept. I think it's cool that your old cities still continue to kind of dynamically develop. I wish I could have done that evolution, but I think that's about as far as I can go this time. So unless we get any other crazy era-changing things, we just wait another 300 cycles, and that should be enough to get us off to the wonder construction. Oh, so one thing that I actually hadn't noticed before is that you do get a little bit of an evolution outliner from the earlier era. And I believe I'm getting it here, but I just did not notice this little up arrow. So just for reference, I mean, I guess we're getting Carnation Workshop when we get to Renaissance. That seems to be what's going to... Yeah, Knights, Training Grounds, Tables, and Unknown, but something that we haven't unlocked yet. So, a couple of different options. We could probably stay in this era, but it's interesting that the more you develop in one era, it just changes your options for later on. I mean, you can do a little bit more of this. At this point, I just have so much more room to work with. I almost wish I could just control a little bit more in terms of the macro, but yeah, I mean, it seems to get really big as you go into future eras, because look, I didn't even build that many cultural buildings in here, just like 1, 2, was that? Yeah, and then that was the Universitas, as well as the house, yes, the famed House of Grievances. A great time was had by all therein. Okay, so we do have a little bit more of know-how going on here. Cooking book is really useful because we're using less food per inhabitant. Some of these things still have yet to be implemented. I do appreciate the note. This know-how depends on unimplemented game mechanics. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so it would be nice if we were locked off, but otherwise than that, it is nice to know at least what is planned and that is well documented. So that is nice to see, and it is also very clear, I think, with the roadmap. Besides, a lot of these roadmap features are only like months away for a lot of it, at least as it appears. It's early morning. This is 78 gold leaves are missing. Okay, so citizen satisfaction we've kind of been neglecting, to be fair, but that's really not that bad. In the last settlement, everyone was just at war with each other, which was kind of funny because we made it through the game anyway. But yeah, I still don't feel so threatened by events, and I'm not all that smart, so I know that I've just played with people who are much better than me at 4X games. So I think I learned enough for the first playthrough to survive. I think it would be more fun if this game were more difficult. But maybe that's just me, or maybe it gets more difficult as we go. Anyway, I will just kind of continue indiscriminately building many buildings. But although I guess, you know, to tip my own hat to myself, as it were, I have played quite a lot of city builders in my time, in my day. So there is that to be had. Let's continue building as many of these as we can to just up the satisfaction. No more robberies, please. No more robberies in this town. Alright, so just to give one last kind of overhead view of our civilization right here. We're just coming up on the last days of construction on the Castle Windsor, but I mean, what you wind up with in the end is a host of civilizations. If you planned it well enough, everything kind of sprawled out, right? Which we went even beyond our main kind of safety security zone and into more uncharted waters here, which I think means I did a pretty good job with the population. Although there is thievery, so satisfaction has been kind of tricky to keep up per population member, as well as now that generally just means that there's more factions moving in, most probably. Which can lead to tension later on. But so far, so good. We've just kept our stores up and tried to keep everyone happy. But yeah, I guess we didn't get any of the evolution of the buildings here, but we did repair the old ones, so I'll just decline that one. But that, unfortunately, does just... I do wish you could just stay there. I guess I could not click on this, but I do wish to show my score. So antiquity and Middle Age, so you can kind of play separately by each area. Oh, we actually did better in the Middle Ages this time. I thought that we did considerably better in antiquity, I guess. No, we did about equally bad in each era. Average faction trust, so you're graded based on trust. Number of service buildings, so I don't even know how you would get quite through all the way without them. If that's possible, whatever, but your downtown level. Cultural Radiance, which we did get quite far in that time. Didn't get enough wonders. I guess we could have done more with that, but I'm not sure if we even have access to. And ended the age. So anyway, that's about what we've got right now. And it is a pretty cool package that you get. I would really like to see more before I can call this a full game. So I'd like to see what is happening with the 1.0, what happens with the future eras, how do the past eras kind of affect that, because as you can see, there were a couple of policies like that still yet to be implemented. I think that this is the bare bones of a really, really cool city builder civ that has, you know, feet in the kind of nitty-gritty rather than just the overall civilization, which we've seen many times before. But this, if you like city builders, is, I think, a really neat idea. And what if it went into the future? I mean, I have really fond memories of playing games like Rise of Nations. That's what kind of came to mind with me. And also, too, I didn't really say it, but this game's soundtrack kind of slaps. I don't know if you heard it in the background, but it just brought me back to that and the incredible orchestral suite that was Rise of Nations. And yeah, that made me nostalgic. But it's nice to see another new, really unique idea coming out. So anyway, hats off to 5 p.m. Thanks for sending me. I did receive a key to this, so shout out to them for that. But my thoughts are my own, and I think that's about all I have to say about that. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think, what you are looking for 1.0. Again, I will just kind of point people to the roadmap if they're looking for more details, and I will leave that up there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time.